com and the director of the Portland Comedy Film Festival. Coming up, Portland Comedy Film Festival Fall 2022 is our final event of the year to wrap up in November. And it's been an exciting year for Portland Comedy Film Festival. We screen all kinds of comedy content that is 30 minutes or less. Everything from television pilots, music videos, to dark comedy, romantic comedy, sketch comedy, stand-up comedy, horror comedy, you name it, anything to get you laughing with content that's 30 minutes or less per film or submission. And we're going to screen, I think, about a 5-hour program is what it's looking like at Portland Comedy Film Festival in November. Exciting times ahead. And we are joined by a submission that earned the award finalist nomination for Best Romantic Comedy Series Episode. And that series is called Rachel Rama. And we're joined by Rachel Bennish and the director, Michael David Kerr. How are you?
Doing great. Having even better now that we're talking to you.
Good stuff. And I'm sorry, is it Carr or Kerr? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's pronounced Carr, but it's spelled like Kerr. Yep, Carr. So,
no worries.
Yes, this is the Rachel's partner here. The director, and you can't see me, but I'm here. Really, I promise. We had some hiccups with the technical stuff, but thank you for having us. We're excited. We're excited to be at your festival.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words, and your work makes us look good, and we're excited to talk about it and dig in a little bit more.
Same.
So let's get into this. Before I ruin the synopsis, which I have a habit of doing, I'm going to let one of you do it. So what's the synopsis of this episode?
Thank you for not ruining it. So Rachel Rama is a comedy series that's, I would say, semi-autobiographical. So my name's Rachel, and this is a story that follows a woman who kind of is a self-proclaimed dating disaster, kissing a lot of frogs in the city of Los Angeles, and kind of having to learn her lessons the hard way, as we all do. But plot twist, she actually ends up becoming a world-renowned, famous relationship coach and expert, selling hundreds of thousands of her best-selling book, The Relationship Whisperer, as the relationship whisperer. So the series actually starts out with her giving a TED Talk to her fans and followers, and taking us, and then the series will take us through how she went from a dating disaster to relationship expert.
All right. Exciting stuff. Yeah. The judges are really impressed with this. Love the concept. Love the twist. Love the acting, the production. So many things to talk about that have just really, really good here. But let's talk about the creative approach to both of you and how you approach the series. Obviously, Rachel is from an acting perspective and a writing perspective. You can talk to us, Michael, from a directing perspective and a writing perspective. Which one of you wants to go first?
I can jump in, kind of why the genesis of this happened. Well, we were both in a storytelling class. It's sort of a class where you go in your workshop, and Rachel's a comedian, so she was workshopping her comedy, bits to go on stage, and I was workshopping. I do storytelling, so I was workshopping some things there. And out of all the people, that I heard come up and tell their stories or do their comedy or anything, Rachel's always made me laugh the most, because it was her true stories of her dating disasters. And she dated a guy who would be like wouldn't have a front headlight ever fixed in his car, and then she'd come in with another guy who was like a life coach, but he didn't have a house, so he didn't live anywhere, he just lived on people's couches, and so like there were so many funny instances that she brought in, and I would just always laugh when she would go up. And to me, that is the greatest sign of, you're like, okay, this is making me laugh. And then we talked about it, and then we just started slowly kind of writing these scenes out that she brought in for her comedy act. And then it developed into Rachel Rama.
Wow. So you're just putting it all out there, huh, Rachel? Talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to go from like true stories and then knowing kind of what's funny about it in retrospect. Like, yes, there's definitely that time and pain equals comedy. Like, there definitely had to be some time lapse before I could write about it. But I think just the process of creating these characters based on people I had dated and, trying not to like make fun of them too much, but it really just highlighted the mindset that I had had during the process, and a little bit poking fun at myself too for being so open-minded or a little bit naive or yeah, so that in itself kind of lends to the comedy. But in a weird way, there was a lot of like I know people make art sometimes in ways of therapy, and in some ways I kind of did learn a lot about myself even by writing this, because you can kind of, as you're writing about yourself, you can see patterns that emerge. You can see, you're like, oh, why am I attracting these kind of people into my life? And oh, why do I keep doing that? And so there was like a mix of creativity and like therapy that was happening at the same time.
Those are some crazy stories to pull from, and sometimes they say truth is stranger than fiction, right? And very cool. It makes for a good product. It makes for, I think what your team has really done well is capture awkward, right? You've captured like, these awkward situations, and I think it's really cool. What about any other creative inspirations? I mean, you talk about it in the writing room stylistically, like how you wanted to make the show look. I guess we're kind of slipping into a little bit more technical here, but did you have a certain look you want to go through? Were you inspired by any like television programs, or how did you know how you wanted the final product to come across as?
Well, we talked about sort of, better things. I think that's a great show. So it was something in terms of that, character driven. There's not, we don't have the time to be doing any like fancy camera moves for the most part. We had a great DP, who came in and did stuff with very little light. So it's more, it's more we're going with, the available light and really just trying to capture, these moments. So the camera was always close up. There was a lot of handheld for two reasons. One, because it just worked for the piece of just following her, and the other was, obviously in terms of the speed, you need to be going faster when you're on a low budget. But yeah, and then in terms of there's a couple of fantasy sequences that we made look, a lot slicker and kind of more like a dreamlike, which I don't want to give away right now, which we had some fun with. And then there's one section where she's sort of the one where we did do more lighting and we did make it tried to make it look a little more glamorous, was the when she's doing the TED Talks, to kind of separate that from her life of being a dating disaster. The TED Talks are where she's more of the, the relationship whisperer, the famous relationship expert.
What were any of the technical lessons you may have learned just producing this, taking it from A to Z? Was there any learning experiences that were kind of like film school for you?
Well, I can just share from an actor's point of view, because this was my first film that I had ever produced or worked on. So luckily I had Michael, who is a seasoned director, to really like walk me through. I kept saying like, oh, I have like this. Yeah, this is my film school here. And he's my mentor, teacher. But I think from an actor's perspective, you don't fully understand the whole casting process until you are on the other side of it and you see like it's not personal. You really are just trying to find the best person for the role. And so I think it's just the whole casting process like helped me see You know, the casting's always rooting for you, whoever's auditioning. They always really want you to help them fill the role. So yeah, I think that's something that helped me. And we had I'm in, you know, comedy improv scene in LA, so I just got so lucky and had friends that I do improv with. A lot of people were able to like fit really well into certain roles. And then just knowing they had that improv background, I think gave me a sense like I could relax knowing that we could just have fun on set together.
All right. All right. Anything you wanted to add on that, Michael?
No, it was a very fun, you know, I totally concur with Rachel, with her friends, you know, the people, especially Hester, you know, who played the sort of friend from Oregon, ironically, right? They're from Portland. But yeah, that their relationship, because they've known each other so well, that they could just have a good time, and you could feel that. And I think everybody, pretty much, even people who came in just for a day or for half a day, we tried to keep the set, you know, fun. And you know, when you don't have a big budget, at least you can give them creative freedom, you know, that they might not have in a Marvel movie or something. So so we let people, you know, take a lot of chances and do a lot of takes, and yeah, it was a fun creative experience for sure, especially with these improvers.
What is next for you? The future of the series we can talk about first. What's going on next? Have you outlined some more episodes, shooting more episodes, planning more episodes? Like, where are we at with it?
Well, we did shoot. We actually we shot some additional footage that we were playing with here. That would probably go into the next episode. But yeah, we have outlined basically the first season, and then some of the second season. But the trajectory of her is going to be, as Rachel said, going from dating disaster to this relationship, you know, guru, basically. And so we're going through navigating how is she going to get to that at the very, you know, in the final of season 1, which is where she'll really start to, you know, take off. And what we're seeing is obviously, well, I don't want to say more because I just want people to see it. But yeah, we've outlined the first season. Well, I don't want to say more because I don't want people. I don't want to say what we have in this one, and then people won't be surprised.
Right.
So that's what I don't want to say more about there. So yes, and then I have something else, a movie called The Mattress Man, but I'll talk about that after. Rachel, I want you to jump in with anything, you know, anything more about our outlining.
Yeah, I think just with the outlining, you know, you're really like watching this character's inner journey and some of her own shadows and demons that she has to face to be able to, and learning these lessons the hard way. And I think her idea is like, oh, I could share what I'm learning with the world. I could share this so that other people don't have to experience what I'm experiencing. And that's kind of what starts her on that path of helping other people with their relationships, even though she's never had a great one.
I mean, she basically does a viral video, and that's what we did shoot, but we didn't put it into the first episode. But that would be in the middle of the series. She's going to do a viral video where she just kind of vents everything that's happening and doesn't even think anything's going to come of it. She's just like, I don't know who is going to see this, maybe 10 people. But somehow it strikes a chord. And that's, like, as Rachel was saying, it's kind of the trajectory, the catalyst for how she starts, you know. That's the interesting thing that we like about this, is that this person's got a big arc to go from dating disaster to relationship guru, and, you know, how she gets there. So that's pretty much all about season 1.
Well, other than this project, what else do you have planned for the future? What's going on with you, Rachel?
Rachel is sharpening my comedy knife. Is that what you say? Yeah, I don't know. Tools. I'm starting to get back into stand-up. I think that was something like one of my first really first loves of feeling like freedom of speech. No, that's not, just like freedom of self-expression and having that control over what you share. So getting back into stand-up, and then we're working on getting a pitch together for Rachel Rama to be able to pitch to networks or shop it around.
All right. And you, Mike?
Well, I have this film I wrote a while back called The Mattress Man. And that is a comedy, kind of a screwball comedy. It's about a mattress man who delivers to people, and then he sort of has affairs with all the people he's delivering his mattresses to. And it takes place in England in a small town, and it looks like a guy named Elliot Grove, who's the head of Rain Dance, actually film festival, maybe producing it with me. So that's something to look for in the future. Mattress Man.
All right. Amazing. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you sharing all these things with me about this episode and the series. Again, we're proud to screen it. It's really well executed.
To all the people who voted for our film to be in your festival too, which is very sweet of you guys. Thank you to the judges and all the whoever voted.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words, and yeah, we're big supporters of this project. You make us look good, and we're looking forward to the screening in Portland coming up.
Thanks for having us there, and thanks for having us today.
No problem. Anything you want to add, Rachel?
Yeah, I first time in Portland for first time in a specific comedy festival, so I can't wait to be there to celebrate with everyone else. And yeah, huge thank you to the judges that picked our funny little comedy to be a part of the festival. Just still so excited about that. So, and thank you, Michael, for all the work you do to make this happen.
You're very welcome. You guys have a good day.
Thank